Now, these archetypes are actually dominatrix archetypes. If you want, for the remainder of this talk, we could call each other mistresses if you like that. So, these corporate dominatrix archetypes have various characteristics and various types of power they wield. And women can determine which of these sisters they identify with organically. You can also go on the Corporate Dominatrix website and take a quiz, and it will calculate which type you are. But I think you could pretty much get a sense just by reading the characteristics. And then you learn how to employ the tactics of the other types in certain situations. So each type has its own defining characteristics and particular types of power they wield. Now, the goddess is the spiritual guru. She looks for meaning in her work. She sees good in everything. She doesn't think people are malevolent. She doesn't obsess about mistakes. She achieves work-life balance. She's honest. She's basically very zen. And she uses personal power. Now, the fantasy role play for that particular archetype is the yoga instructor versus the trainee. There have actually been yoga instructors that have had affairs with their trainees. So it obviously works.
Yeah, of course. Definitely seen that before.
But you could, again, you could be the trainee or you could be the yoga instructor, because you could have either a dominant or a submissive scenario. Okay, then there's the queen, the sovereign ruler. She is royally assertive, goal-oriented, places a high emphasis on loyalty, like Donald Trump, thrives on prestige, enjoys privilege, works toward building an empire, delegates with clout, rules with a velvet glove, and uses position power. And the fantasy role play for this archetype is royal versus subject. And that's kind of fun. In our household, we fight over who's the king and who's the queen. Who's the king of the castle? Who's the queen of the castle?
I love it.
The governess. She's the school teacher and disciplinarian. She displays patience, provides guidance, has a strong sense of duty, is proactive, resourceful. She enjoys mentoring, inspires cooperation, is trustworthy, and uses punishment as needed. And the fantasy role play for that archetype is teacher versus student. Then there's the Amazon, the warrior combatant. She's independent, heroic, strategic, fearless, industrious, dynamic, analytical, courageous, forceful, decisive, resolute. She uses coercive power. And the fantasy role play for that archetype is warrior versus captive. That could be a fun one.
That would be fun.
That's a fun one. The nurse. She's social worker medic. She's productively reactive, responsive to emergencies, composed, humane, respectful, thorough, fastidious, observant, and a natural at administering remedies. She uses healing power. Fantasy role play is very obvious, doctor-patient, or it could be doctor-nurse, whichever you like. Then there's the schoolgirl. That's the student apprentice. She's curious, independent, acquiescent, youthful, playful, respectful of authority, coy, lighthearted, with a sense of humor, and mischievous. She uses borrowed power. And the fantasy role play for that archetype is professor versus sorority sister.